For today's project, you will need an embroidery hoop, a bunch of fabric scraps, and a big imagination. This is going to be a fun project. Okay, who's got scraps? I know I do. I have a ton of them. This is a perfect scrap busting project. Let's get busy. Okay, now all improv quilting is just grabbing whatever you have, whatever scraps, anything goes, and just sew pieces together in any kind of random order. And you'll just do piecing like you normally would on any kind of quilt block. Be sure to press every piece after you've attached it. Oh my, I have so many scraps. What to do, what to do. Take odd pieces and angle them together and cut where you want to sew. This is looking so good, guys. Now here, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to put on here next. Do I want polka dots? Do I want floral, pink, yellow again? What would I like here? I just don't know. So I just kind of set different colors on top of just to see where I want to go with this. I just love seeing all of my favorite fabrics sewn together like this. Now I'm just cutting off excess here because I want to see where I'm at and what I actually have, because a lot of this does get cut off on the edges. So I'm just checking it out. Okay, it's getting bigger, and I am just going to trim off some more edges to see where we're at. Oh yes, that is one of my favorite fabrics right there. That creamy background with the turquoise flowers. We used that on the ironing board cover tutorial. Be sure and check that one out. A shout out to my mom. She bought me this great circular cutting mat that I'm using in today's tutorial. Thanks, Mom. It's working great. Now what I'm doing here is trying to angle my project onto those three other pieces of fabric there. And this will tell me where it's going to land as far as how far out and whatnot. So I'm just laying it to where I want it, and then you'll see me flip it up. There we go. And that is where my cut is going to be. And then I will sew those two pieces together. Easy peasy. Oh my, that turquoise fabric, that's absolutely perfect. Now at about 1.5 to 2 inches around the hoop, you're going to trim that fabric. Cut some batting to fit and make a quilt sandwich here. And as far as the backing goes, nobody's going to see it, so I just put together a couple of scraps that I had and I created the quilt sandwich. Now, typically I would use some basting spray, but I'm out, so I'm going to improvise, no pun intended, and I'm going to pin my quilt sandwich together. Okay, now on to the really fun stuff, right? So, what you see me doing here is practicing, practicing, practicing. What I'm doing is making sure that my tension is just right. I'm going over some of the patterns that I might want to use on the free motion quilting. It's kind of like a warm up right before a game, right? Okay, now I've started my free motion quilting for real now. And I haven't been doing free motion quilting for too long. I did do one quilt with it. So I do have an idea of some really easy patterns that I normally do like to do. So those are the patterns that I'm using. Some are figure eights, some are the swirls, and the echoing around the swirls. I like to do those. You can do some straight lines. And if you don't have the free motion foot, you could always use your walking foot and do a lot of different straight lines, and you could do some diamond shapes and different things. I mean, honestly, it's whatever you want, whatever you feel like at the moment. Now, if you're just getting started with free motion quilting and you don't know too much about it, this would be a perfect project to start with because the area is so small. It's not like it's a quilt or even like a sampler quilt. It's more low scale and small. Um, Actually, it's whatever size hoop that you have that would frame the project. And it's very, very beginner friendly. And if you make any mistakes on it, oh well, who would notice anyways, right? Just in case you all were wondering about my hoop, it is vintage. I found it at the thrift store, if you can believe it, and it was only 99 cents. That's it. It's the end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.